In this tutorial we're going to be learning how to crochet this granny square. This is a take on a traditional granny square but with fewer holes. Before we jump in the tutorial, I just want to let you know, those more experienced crocheters among you, the first 2 rounds of this square are exactly the same as a traditional granny square with a chain 1 space along the side. So if you're happy making a traditional granny square, use the timestamps down here to skip ahead to round 3 so I don't waste your time going through rounds 1 and 2. However, if you're newer to crochet, I am going to go through rounds 1 and 2 step by step, so let's get started. We're going to start by making a chain ring for the centre of our granny square. To do that, start by making a slip knot using your preferred method. This is how I like to make my slip knots. Then work a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now slip stitch in the first chain to make a ring. So I'm putting my hook in there to make 1 slip stitch. And now we've made a ring of chains, and if I give this a little pull, there'll be a circle that opens up at the centre that we can crochet our round 1 stitches into. Start round 1 with a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. That counts as your first double crochet stitch. That's a double crochet in US terms. It's known as a treble crochet in UK terms. I am going to be using US terms for this tutorial. Next, make 2 double crochets into the centre of that chain ring that we've made. So my hook's going where my finger's peeking out there. So I'm going to make 2 double crochets. That's 1, 2. So next we're going to make a corner space by chaining 2. 1, 2. Now work 3 more double crochets into that chain ring. 1, 2, 3. Now make another corner space by chaining 2. 1, 2. We're now going to repeat those steps 2 more times, so I'm going to make 3 double crochets into the chain ring. 1, 2, 3. Then chain 2. 1, 2. And again I'm going to make 3 double crochets into the centre of the ring. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to make 2 chains, 1, 2, and to finish off the round we're going to slip stitch in the top of our starting chain. So our starting chain is there, 1, 2, 3. To that 3rd chain at the top I'm going to make a slip stitch. You can do an invisible join here if you're experienced with that. So next I'm going to fasten off. So to fasten off, chain 1, grab a pair of scissors, snip your yarn tail so it's long enough to weave in later. I usually go for about 5 or 6 inches. That might be a bit more than that, but never mind. Then use your crochet hook to pull that tail through that chain that we made. Give it a pull to fasten off. So if you've watched my granny square tutorials before, you might have seen me crocheting over the top of that yarn end, so I can give it a pull to close up that big hole at the centre of the square. If you've not managed to do that, you can thread that tail onto a tapestry needle, run it underneath all of the stitches at the back, give it a pull, and that will close up that hole at the centre of your granny square. So before I join the next colour, I am going to be turning my granny square at the end of every round. If you've not come across this technique before, I will link my tutorial up here and down in the description. That's 7 tips for perfect granny squares. It just gives a neater finish. So next I'm going to pick any chain 2 corner space and I'm going to put my hook into it. Then I'm going to grab my next colour of yarn and pull up the end. I'm going to lay that end over the top of my crochet hook, leaving a long end down here to weave in later. That's a little bit too long, so there, about the same length that we did earlier. Next I'm going to use my crochet hook to pull up a loop of yarn into that corner space there. Now here is another tip from that previous tutorial, which is I'm going to lay this yarn tail over the top of my crochet hook like this. That just makes it a little bit more secure once we've done our starting chain. I will need to come back and weave this end in at the end of my granny square. So start round 2 with a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3, that counts as your first double crochet. Then work 2 more double crochets back into the chain 2 space. So 1, 2. So when I've taught granny squares on this channel in the past, usually here I tell you not to do any chains and immediately do your stitches into the next corner space. For this square we are going to be doing 1 chain here. It just makes everything lie a little bit flatter. So make 1 chain, then work 3 double crochets into the next corner space. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to make a corner space of 2 chains, 1, 2. Then we're going to work 3 more double crochets back into this corner space. So 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to repeat this around our square. So chain 1. Then we're going to make a corner group into the next chain space. So my corner group is 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Then chain 2 to make the corner space. Then 3 more double crochets back into that same corner space. If you are a beginner who's not made a normal granny square before, I do recommend a different tutorial that I will link down in the description if this is going a little bit fast for you. So our corner group here is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. In this granny square, that is the group we always make in our corner chain 2 spaces on every round. It does not change. Next, chain 1. And work another corner group into this next corner space. So 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, then chain 2, 1, 2, and 3 more double crochets back into that corner space, the same corner space again. 2, 3. This is what my square is looking like. So now I'm going to chain 1. If I look at my next corner space, we've already got 3 double crochets in here from the beginning of the round. So we're going to finish off this corner space by working 3 double crochets into this space here. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do that chain 2 corner, and then slip stitch into the top of this starting chain just like we did at the end of round 1. Then we're going to fasten off just like we did before. So we're now ready for round 3, and that's where the magic starts with this granny square pattern. So just the same as before, I'm going to turn my square over. I'm going to pick any corner space and put my hook into it. I'm going to lay my next colour over my crochet hook, and I'm going to pull up a loop, and I'm going to pop my yarn tail over my hook and tuck it out of the way. Now I'm ready for round 3. To start round 3, make 3 chains, 1, 2, 3. That counts as your first double crochet stitch. Now work 2 more double crochets back into that corner space. 1, 2. Next, chain 1. Now if you're familiar with traditional granny squares, in the next space we would usually work a granny group or a granny cluster or a group of 3 double crochet, whatever you want to call it. We'd work one of those granny groups into this space here. We're going to be altering that granny group here to create that special stitch that fills in the hole. So to do that, work a double crochet into that space. So for the next stitch, we're going to be making something called a spike stitch, or some people call it an elongated stitch. and that's where we make our stitch into a stitch from the round below. So specifically what we're going to be making is a spike double crochet into the second double crochet of this group of 3 double crochets down here. So we're actually going to be making our stitch in that stitch there. And we need to do this quite loosely, and I'll show you how we do that spike stitch step by step. So we're actually going to be doing a spike double crochet. You can do spike stitches for all different kinds of crochet stitches. The one we're doing is a spike double crochet. So yarn over, put your hook into that second double crochet of the 3 double crochet group down here. So in there. And I'm not bringing my hook in front of my crochet like this. My hook is going through to the back of my granny square, like that. We're going to be catching this chain with our stitch. So next, yarn over and pull up a loop, and at this point we need to be really loose here. So I'm going to pull up that loop really far, and I've pulled it up to about the height of my double crochet that's next to it there. And it's really important that this loop here is quite long and loose, and I'll show you why just on my sample square. So if you have a look at my sample square here, you might be able to see that the sides have a bit of a curve to them. They're a bit concave, they curve in a bit. That's because when I did this stitch I didn't pull this loop up long enough, and even though I've blocked this, it just does not want to be a square shape. So it's really important here you do your loops nice and loose so that you don't end up with this problem that I have with my sample square. And that's why I think that knowing to pull this loop up to the height of the double crochet next to it is a really good indicator that you've pulled it up loose enough. So we're now going to finish this off just like we would with a normal double crochet. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you can see how that's now elongated or spiked down there. So next we're going to do a double crochet to finish off this group of 3 double crochets back into the same space. And it kind of looks like there's not enough space here, but if you grab these stitches and pull them over a little, you can see we can still get into that chain space there. So I'm going to work double crochet in that space there. Next, chain 1, and then work a corner group into the next chain 2 space. That's exactly the same as the round 2 corner groups. It's 3 double crochets, 2, 3, chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets back into the same corner space. And there's the corner group. And then we're going to work along this side of the square, so chain 1, and then because our next space is not a corner space, it's a space along the side of our square, we're going to do that elongated group that we did over here. So first do a double crochet into the chain 1 space. I like to pull this double crochet over a little bit. Then we're going to work that elongated or spike double crochet into that second double crochet of the 3 double crochet group from round 1. So my hook's going in there, through to the back. I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop and keep pulling until it's the height of the stitch next to it. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to pull my stitches over a little bit to find that space, and I'm going to do a double crochet into it. And then we're going to repeat these steps all the way around. So chain 1, corner group, chain 1, that group of 3 double crochets with the spike stitch in the middle, chain 1, corner group, chain 1, that spike stitch group, chain 1. And what I'll do is I'll meet you when you're almost at the end of round 3. So I've continued working around my granny square, and you can see that we've got 4 groups of these elongated stitches on each side, and I've got my corner groups. I've just gone in to finish off that corner group exactly as we did for round 2, and I've done my chain 2. I'm ready to fasten off, so I'm going to slip stitch in the top of the starting chain, chain 1, snip my yarn, pull my yarn tail through, and that's round 3 finished. So for round 4 is essentially the same as round 3, but we're going to be having more and more of these elongated groups the more rounds we put on our square. So if I just show you here, we've got rounds 1, 2, 3, and then if we look at this grey round here, that's round 4, and you can see we've got 2 of these elongated groups. The next round, this orange round, we've got 3. The next round, this darker green round, we've got 4. So on and so on. So the pattern for this round pretty much remains the same, no matter how big your granny square gets. And that's really easy for us to remember because it's a nice easy stitch repeat for us to remember, because all we're doing is each round has an extra one of these groups on each side of the square. So I am going to work through round 4 together for those that need it, but if you're happy with that concept, then go ahead and skip ahead to round 5, because on round 5 I'm going to show you this neat way of finishing off your granny square so you don't end up with these holes on the final round. You can see if I finished off my granny square here, I'd have holes here, and this final round just closes off those holes of the last round. Okay, round 4, I'm going to turn my square over, pick any corner space. I'm going to go for this one. I'm going to join my colour exactly as we've done previously. Next, I'm going to start my round just as I've done previously, so 3 chains, 2, 3, that counts as my first double crochet. Then work 2 double crochets back into that corner space. 1, 2. So now we're going to work along the side of our square. So I'm going to chain 1, skip those stitches into the next space. Because it's a space that's along the side of the square and not in the corner, I'm going to make one of those elongated groups. So I'm going to do a double crochet in the chain 1 space. Pull that stitch over a little, then an elongated double crochet into the second double crochet of the 3 double crochet group 2 rounds below. So for this round it's round 2, but in future rounds it will be higher and higher and higher rounds. So it's literally just that double crochet there that's just below this chain 1 space we're working into. No matter the round, it's always that stitch, the one just below that chain 1 space. I'm going to put my hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and keep pulling until that loop's the height of the stitch next to it. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now I'm going to pull my stitches over a little bit to find that same space, and I'm going to work a double crochet into it. Next, make 1 chain. Then we're going to make one of those 3 double crochet with the spike stitch as the second stitch. So I'm going to do a double crochet into the chain space, work a spike stitch into that stitch, so the second double crochet of the group just below the chain 1 space we've just worked into. So I'm going in there, and I'm going to pull up that loop to the same height as the stitch next to it, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, pull those stitches over and work a double crochet back into that chain 1 space there. Then I'm going to chain 1, and my next space is a corner space, so I'm going to work that same corner group we've done in round 2 and round 3 into it. I'm going to repeat that all the way around, so I do a chain 1. My next space is along the side of the square. It's not that chain 2 corner space, it's just a chain 1 space. I'm going to do that elongated group of 3 double crochet. If it's a corner space, I do a corner group. I'm going to work my way all the way around the square and then finish off this corner just as we did in rounds 2 and rounds 3. And then come back to this tutorial, and for round 5 I'm going to show you that final round that you can work on your square once it's the size that you want it to be. You can continue repeating round 4 over and over again. So here I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've done 8 rounds of this square. For this square I'm just doing 4, but you could theoretically keep going with this granny square until you've made a giant granny square as a blanket if you wanted to. Anyways, I'll meet you back here and I'll show you what we do differently for round 5, or whatever round you want to be the last round of your square. So I've gone ahead and joined my new colour just exactly as we've done before. So now this round is actually a round of single crochet, so US single crochet. So we're going to start with a chain of 1, and that does not count as a stitch when we work a single crochet. So next, work a single crochet back into that same corner space. Now work a single crochet into the 3 stitches across. 1, 2, 3. And our next stitch is now a chain 1 space. So what we're going to do now is do a spike single crochet into that second stitch down there, and that just closes up this hole. So I've not done any yarn overs, and I'm going to put my hook into this second double crochet of the 3 double crochet group below that chain 1 space there to the back, yarn over, pull up a loop, and keep pulling on that loop until it's a little bit higher than the stitch next to it. Yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. You can see that's closed up that hole nicely without creating more holes on this round like the previous rounds did. And we're going to repeat this across our square. So I'm going to single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Then a spike stitch into that stitch below. And as you can see, it's actually the spike stitch from that round. So I'm going in there. I'm going to do that spike single crochet, pulling up that loop higher than that single crochet there. And repeat across. So however big your granny square is, repeat across here until you get to your corner space. So once you reach your corner space, you're going to make a different corner group than the ones we've made previously. So we're going to work a single crochet into the chain space, then 2 chains, and a single crochet back into the same space. And that corner group is the standard one that I use when I'm working a round of single crochet around a square. So now repeat these steps all the way around. So a single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then a spike single crochet. Repeat across until you reach a corner, then single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in each corner. I'll meet you down here and I'll show you how we finish off this final corner space. So I've continued working around my granny square and I'm almost at the end of the round. I've just got that space where we joined our yarn left to work. We already have a single crochet here. Remember, we're not counting this chain 1 as a stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to work a single crochet back into that same corner space, then 2 chains, and then you can finish off with a slip stitch if you want to, but I always recommend the invisible join for the final round of your granny square. If you'd like a tutorial about how to do that, I will link it on your screen here. Once you've done that, you need to weave in all your ends and then block your granny square. If you've not blocked your granny square before, I'll pop the tutorial for that here, and I'll see you again next week for another crochet tutorial.